Welcome to the Evergreen Creative Company podcast. We like to call it the Evergreen Creative Podcast. It's a little bit shorter to say, but our main goal for this podcast is to share our experiences as a company through the projects that we work on a weekly basis. Whether you're a client or another creator, you're going to get to hear our experiences from each project that we work on. So if you find value from this podcast, please leave a review and also share this with your friends and colleagues. All right, one of the things that we need to say, and a suggestion from someone that was listening, is to introduce ourselves, because not everybody's going to know who we are. Oh. So I would say I'm your host. Well, we're all hosts, so we're not going to say host. I don't even know how to say this, so I'm just going to say I'm part owner of Evergreen Creative Company. I'm
Kristen. I'm the other part of the owner.
Houston, editor, production assistant. I don't know.
Production assistant is good. Hannah?
I'm Hannah, and I don't know.
I
do a little bit of everything.
Like studio assistant would be a good one. All right, so we kind of coming off of the last podcast. Even though we didn't have as much travels going on, we were still kind of busy doing stuff. And what we just want to go over again, just to kind of recap what this podcast is about, is we're kind of recapping ourselves on what we worked on, what we're going to be working on, and like the things that we thought went well, and also some of the things that we think could be better. We'll also go over some pro tips kind of stuff, some like tips that we've either adopted ourselves from the projects that we worked on, or something that we want to give advice to for future reference. And if you hear little footsteps going on, it's because we also have another member of the podcast.
Evergreen team.
Is Emmett.
Our mascot.
So
he was trying to my feet, and now he's not. I don't know where he is.
We figured he'd be under us, but no, not this time.
He backed out through the curtain, and he kind of looked around like, I'm gone. I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm not here.
Flip that screen around so that way we can make sure it's still recording and stuff.
So I can look at myself in the viewfinder.
I can see the red light from here.
Okay.
Hello.
All right. Blinky red lights are happening, so that's good.
I don't know. Blinky red lights at that graduation last night didn't mean anything.
So I edited it, and it's fine. Night, yeah. It worked out.
Did it?
Yeah. With our main tight shot, was able to cover that up, so it's fine. So if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, you're gonna, if you see a random like movement from the backdrop,
it's not a ghost moving the curtain.
It's just Emmett passing through. All right, so we do have a client coming in today for some headshot work around 9:40.
Ooh,
crunch time. Yeah, so we're probably not going to do this as an hour podcast this time, but we also
don't have an hour's worth of stuff to talk about.
I mean, we could talk about a lot of stuff with what we did do, because it was still a pretty big variety. So I'm going to just pull up the calendar. Our main, if you hear chewing in the background, that's also Emmett.
He's just like gulping the water.
What are you going to do? It's part of our life here at the studio, so it's raw moments. Our main focus on Monday was editing the Mud Festival video.
Oh yeah, that did happen
So week. That was our main focus because they wanted I guess you would call it a rush edit in a sense. So it wasn't the same day or anything like that. They needed it
that week to promote an event the next weekend.
Yeah, a very similar event. So we knocked that out. Houston nailed it. I think all we had to do was just swap out a logo. That was it. Like that was, if anybody comes at a revision like that, I'm like, sweet. So much better than sometimes.
You never want to hear change the song.
Oh, right. So go
anything but that.
You shot and edited that project. Going into it, not knowing really what to expect in a sense. I mean, there's mud, people driving around, and concert stuff. Like you've got experience with the concert level of things. Mm-hmm. But knowing that you're going to edit the thing, how did you shoot it? Like, what were you going for?
Like I said, you said that, I've done concert stuff, and the closest thing to people driving four-wheelers and trucks and stuff around in mud is I helped shoot a reality pilot for these like farm boys and they like wrestled pigs in the mud. I was just like, I'm just gonna shoot it like that.
One of the things, like as far as planning goes, what we wanted to definitely grab was like reactions and people having a good time, and just trying to capture those kind of things, because it's super easy to get caught up in, like, especially on the concert side of stuff, to get caught up on just shooting the talent, like the artists on stage and stuff. But like our style, what we're trying to go for, what venues, like feedback that we've gotten from venues is like, we need to show people having a good time. Like that's what's going to sell the next time around.
Luckily all the people were all for it. Like they were loving the camera, I guess loving the attention. I don't know, but everybody played into it super well.
One of my favorite shots with the mud park side was the boy on the four-wheeler that just kind of like mean mugged you as he went by.
He kept rolling through it. Like he was giving us plenty of stuff.
So like just looking at that kind of footage, like speed ramps are always fun with that. And that's exactly what we did. Like you sped it up, he got center camera, slowed it down, and then he zipped off. Yeah. So it was pretty cool shots like that. What were some of your favorite editing moments of that project? Like what are your, like, that was pretty good.
All the sort of sound design stuff with all like the just noises of like the mud and the four-wheelers and stuff was really cool in the beginning. But also it's super fun shooting concerts. Yeah. So like all the lights, flames for like the headliner act and stuff.
I don't think I've ever been shot anything that had flames going. So that's
I didn't know there was flames, and I was standing a little too close the first time they went off. It's like, my eyebrow's still here.
Well, they gave us a heads up and said, hey, we have, what is it called? What are they called?
I don't know.
I don't know what you're trying to pyrotechnics?
Pyrotechnics.
Oh, I did not get that heads up.
And I said, okay, because I didn't know what exactly that meant.
You were like, sweet, sounds great.
It's going to be great.
She played that one off, in other words.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So, surprise.
Just running around in the front, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm here, and there's like a flame shooting 10 feet up in the air right beside me.
But I mean, that definitely turned out for some cool footage. We did so you used a gimbal stuff. Yeah, you were using a gimbal on some of those shots, and again, doing some of the speed ramping with the flames going on. It was pretty epic.
That was my favorite shot of the video.
I liked it a lot. Other than that, like, I think we went with a rock, grungy, almost country, southern rock kind of style. So that helped out, and I don't think we spent too much time looking for the music, which was nice. And to me, like, that's one of the easier genres to pick out music for.
Like knock the curtain over.
Yeah, if you're just listening, you're gonna have to tune into the YouTube video too. All links will be in the description. Also, like, we'll put I uploaded the video to our YouTube channel, so that way we can refer back to it. Like, he probably has to go potty or something.
Aggressively licking my hand.
All right, so that project, again, we were able to wrap it up pretty good.
It was easy.
Got it in and out.
All day Monday thing. We did like a minute 18 and then a 30-second.
Right.
Sent them off, and they're just like, take one of these logos off, keep the other. And that was it.
Easy. So yeah, that was a pretty good project.
Guess we can't cut that part out where I just sneezed, but it was in the middle of y'all talking. It's fine.
We've got separate channels, so it might work out. So we can kind of actually touch base on some plans. You have a giveaway coming up.
Yeah.
And like on the calendars is pickup giveaway from the Haven. So we can kind of allude to a few details about that.
Yeah. So we're planning on doing a social media giveaway for the summer, trying to boost our Facebook and Instagram engagement. We've got some theme park tickets, some beach towels, just a bunch of summary type things, and trying to do it up well enough to where we can hit another benchmark on our following.
One of the things that we like as a company is just to collaborate with other companies and businesses, and it's with a bunch that we already work with, so just trying to help each other out too is a big effort in that. So we'll be posting more details about the giveaway and how you can win stuff and all those details coming up pretty soon. But yeah, it's just a little little things like that throughout our week we have to still kind of take care of outside of just shooting and editing stuff. So you had a meeting with Dothan High School, Kristen, with the yearbook, and also some of the just photography stuff that we can cover with that. So just kind of go into how that meeting went. If you could have come into it differently, what would you have done?
So I had a meeting with Dothan High School yearbook plus the person who handles all of the athletics photography, and they're looking for their previous years. They've used someone who is retiring this year, so it was they're considering us and one other company. They wanted to meet with us to see how we would come about things, trying to see how smooth of a process we could make things for them. And I don't know if y'all know this, but being a yearbook sponsor for the photography side of things, you don't get paid. Actually, they assume that you're going to give them commission on things, which is fine because you sell however many prints you can to make up for that, and it should wash out in the long run. But trying to weigh the amount of work we'll put in versus how much we'll actually get paid in the long run is a lot. So I don't know that I would do anything differently. It's just trying to figure out the best process to get through a 1,500 student school with the least amount of confusion and work, and the easiest way for parents to get to buy prints, because the easier the better, and the more sales, really. And also working with a lot of what is it, cooks in the kitchen. Everybody's wanting their spin on things for their own projects, as far as athletics and yearbook staff. Trying to make everybody happy at one time is going to be a lot.
Yeah, so like a little bit of context to the, I guess, client work too, is like we work a lot with Dothan City Schools in general, and also Dothan High School. We've done their athletics hype photos for the last couple of years now. And so we're just trying to look into ways, and it's not like, obviously it's a competitive business. We're not out to put anybody else out, but and also not take advantage of anything either. But at the same time, like we're in it to, like in holistic approaches to where we can cover more bases for one client to where they don't have to work with multiple entities. And it's just like a win-win. We get to work with one client, get to cover all kinds of bases. They get to work with one company and not have to work with a ton of other companies, and less headaches, less variables in place and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like the context of going into it is we want to see how we can better take care of the client. And I think that they appreciate that too. Also, like we work with, speaking of, we can kind of segue into the next project stuff, because we worked a lot with Dothan City Schools last week, doing basically gathering B-roll for a recruiting video that we're working on, and we're just getting extra footage. We're going to be able to use footage that we've shot in the past, but also try to get some extra stuff that we haven't got yet, some different situations and scenarios. And again, it's like if you're anybody that's in like content creation, marketing, design, will appreciate this statement, because design language is huge. So the more that you have the same design language across the board, the better things look. It looks more professional. You're not having a ton of other different looks or styles that, from one school to the next, or one department from another department. We can get all that kind of covered on one style, one look. And last year, I think Dothan Athletics really stepped up with how they posted everything. Everything had a uniform look to it, had the same style, had quality photography, and it just looked great. So it's like if you were to take that principle and apply it to other parts of the Dothan City Schools, I think that they could really step up how Dothan looks in general.
Yeah, that's another thing they were asking us to work on, is seeing if we can make the templates for their athletics to send them packages for each sport. So that way all they had to do was switch out the information on the templates. So that way they could continue that uniform look, but use a local company.
And so, like, speaking of the recruiting video, last year we worked with them on a recruiting video. I thought it went great. There's a lot of cool stuff. We also I talked to Megan about this too. Like, we did a teacher appreciation video to where students read letters or they read on camera, and then the teachers watched the students reading it. And it was like so impactful. It's actually our best performing video on our YouTube channel right now. I think it's like, I'm not going to go into it right now. I think it's like 36,000 views. So, which is really good for our channel.
That video came up a lot just while I was shooting with them Thursday, I think it was. Just back and forth between the different schools and stuff. That video came up a lot. And in my opinion, that's a better recruiting video than what we're actually going to be going for, or even the one that we did before, just because it hits the heartstrings. Like, if you're trying to recruit teachers, they're seeing the reward from it and, that kind of stuff. It's a much longer video. It's like 11 minutes or something like that, around the 10-minute mark. It's long, but it's impactful. And the one that we'll be trying to do is like maybe like a minute long. So it's like, it's for HR.
Right. So it's just like, what I like about that, though, even though we're doing different projects, it's like you're hitting different markets. You're trying to hit different ears and eyes and things like that too. But I enjoy working on those kind of projects. Like, it's the stuff that kind of keeps me in the business. Like, we can crank out cool looking stuff all the time, but if we're able to do more impactful videos, things that make a difference and capture that kind of stuff, or just make videos about things that people care about, that's what's going to keep me going. And so working with the city schools, Dothan City Schools, I appreciate doing that kind of stuff. But it seems like this last few months we've actually worked on, and we'll be working on, a lot of recruitment style videos too. Like, all kinds of organizations are trying to, like, I think Property Champions, we're going to be working with them. So recruitment video for more personnel and things like that, and also just like explaining what they do as a business. The temple video, they're trying to recruit a rabbi and other families that want to move to the area. When I say temple, the Jewish temple, I think some context would be good for that. not some cult temple or something, any other thoughts with different city school stuff?
One thing I'm going back to my meeting was that trying to make things go smoothly, we had talked about, so instead of coming in several days, whatever, throwing one big sports day where we have 3 or 4 different stations set up for, you do the whole team together, and then you do your individual banner photos, and then you do the hype photos. And so we have one company doing all of that, and the teams only have to come in one time. And instead of, one day we're going to do the team all together, and one day we're going to do... Trying
to round up students is hard enough as it is.
Yes.
So.
And students that don't drive, and students whose mama's got to work, and, stuff like that. It's not the easiest thing to get everybody. I mean, last year they were pulling banner photos from our hype photos at the very last minute for seniors to have hanging during their games. And so this next year, trying to get ahead of the game, and that was one of the suggestions, to keep everything flowing.
Yeah. Again, like, just trying to figure out solutions to where it's easier on everybody versus, so if you're local to the Dothan area, this might be a little controversial subject, the farm center. So I guess in recent news, in a sense, that the farm center, if you're familiar with it, it's got a lot of history, all that kind of stuff. Either way, what it boils down to is that the property's for sale, and they want to try to recruit investors that could be possibly interested in purchasing that to develop. So that's what we're working with the city of Dothan this time, is to try to create a video that hits the eyes that they want to see hit, versus just like
Aldi.
A lot of people want Aldi to go in. So I don't want to get into the controversial side of stuff, but there's one camp that wants to basically redevelop the farm center as a farm center, and then another camp that just like it's ready to move. We
level it.
Yeah, we gotta move on from it and try to develop it to something else. Either way, it's basically a real estate style video with information and just trying to figure out like, okay, give some investors some ideas like, this could be used for this or could be used for something else or whatever else. So that's what we're working on this week as well. We got to get some more footage. We got some drone footage already, but we got to get some more. Probably not today because weather.
Yeah, it's going to be raining all week too, so good luck.
We're going to have to play around with that.
We need to find a helicopter.
We have talked about that.
Yeah. How much would it cost to buy a small plane?
Because like
a helicopter you can find a good used one for $100,000, but if you're going new, it's in the millions.
Ooh.
So, I googled it.
Like one of those Vietnam old rust buckets. It's $100,000.
$100,000. It'll get us there.
I'm just thinking like it would be so much easier to take one of those for these trips that we have to do sometimes.
I also feel like y'all are have not talked about yet the most important shoot of the week, and that was the shoot of y'all.
Oh, that's true.
In the office.
I blocked that out. I forgot.
I was like, what?
Didn't Kelsey Barnhart Clark, isn't she going to be doing it?
So we're actually waiting on people. So do you want to explain what it was?
So Kristen sent me a TikTok of some company where I guess just some employees had done this. I don't know if it's a TikTok trend. I'm not really sure. But they had done this TikTok where it was just like random clips of them like doing random things around the office. And so Kristen and Josh decided that they were going to do a Kristen, it was all Josh's. If you could tell from the video, it was all Josh's idea.
Totally my style.
But
between Tony and Kristen now, get me to do all kinds of stuff.
Tony started it.
It was a boss video, challenging other bosses to, I guess, do the same type of video, and they tagged a couple of companies. In the description.
KBC / Kelsey Barnhart Clark. She said, we down, so we're just waiting on it to happen. Push Crank Press was the other one, and they said that they'll do it too. And we're waiting to hear from Euro City. We're kind of disappointed in that. Like, all right, Destiny and Zach, let's.
They got the perfect space for it too.
Right, they could do all kinds of stuff. I mean, all three of them they're all creative minds, so I'm really looking forward to them doing it. But that was an interesting video too.
Yeah, and we kept having to redo it because we have our office mascot and bumping the tripod. Also, they really just could not pull it together at all.
There's that part too.
Literally at all, could not pull it together.
But probably the funniest part though, and we'll link the video so you can see. You have to go watch it. Is the last shot? Like I was bent over on Kristen, and we're in a glass studio, so it's like
glass
windows
all the way
covered
around.
Not even
windows.
paying attention to who's outside of the windows. And Ben, our neighbor next door, Ben Suggs, with BS Salon, was out there with one of his clients because he's in the middle of like rebranding himself and getting some different design logos and all this kind of stuff. So he's literally pointing at our logo because the same logo designer
at the
designed
same
his,
time.
And I look up and he's just got like this big O face, like dropped jaw. It was hilarious. I lost it.
That was the hardest I've ever seen either of you laugh. Like, I'm sitting right here on this couch behind me holding Emmett so he doesn't knock the tripod over, and you just came barreling through this curtain and fell to your knees laughing.
It was the only place I could hide because of the glass. But
And I would have to walk out. It's really funny because my mom, did Kristen tell you that my mom was like, he could be in a horror movie?
Wait, what?
my straight
Do you
face.
remember that the other day? She was like, I loved that video. Josh could be in a horror movie.
It would have to be like
and
in
I was
5-second
what?
increments trying to keep it together.
And I told her, I was like, that's really ironic that you say that because he could not keep it together the entire time. It would be like 3 seconds of him doing a serious face and
I
then
would
he'd
just
start
hold my
laughing.
breath, and as long as I could hold my breath, that's how long it lasted. Like, there was one where we were trying to do a piggyback, and
It took
she
like
belly
20
laughs.
minutes.
And like I try to compose myself, and then I feel her belly laugh and try to keep it together. And I lose. It's like this is just a lost cause right now.
But it happened in the end.
It worked, and Hannah did a
was a great
fantastic
video.
job editing, putting that together.
Great video.
I guess we're gonna try to do a weekly video like that of some sort. So I guess
Gotta
follow
stay
us.
hip with the
Yeah, I
kids on
gotta find one
TikTok.
for this week. Or do you
There-
already have it planned?
I'm trying to remember what the idea was.
Yeah, I sent one, but I don't remember what
I'll
it
go
was.
back and
There's
think
a
it's
Moon
Instagram.
Night one
Yeah,
that I really want to do.
it's been going
That's what I think
crazy
it
on
is.
TikTok.
Wait,
I think
which
I don't know
one?
if you realize it,
it's
but
Moon Knight's song, and it
There's
kind of
like this-
glitches, and I don't want to spoil our
Oh,
idea,
okay, yeah.
but I have an idea for that one,
Okay, fine.
so that should be pretty fun.
Oh, that one.
Oh, yeah. I see. I didn't know you actually meant. I thought you were just sending it to me.
No.
Not that one.
No. Moving on.
yeah, the Moon Knight kind of like the glitching, like out of your like blacking out thing would be really
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah,
to be
I've got an idea for that.
yeah.
Moving on into we didn't do anything Saturday, did we? Did we do something Saturday?
No, we had a yard sale at our house, and we took a whole carload of stuff to the
And we
thrift store.
started a Jurassic Park movie marathon.
Oh yeah,
That was Saturday. So Sunday though, you had a headshot session. Go over that real quick.
So I have an
Intentions for that project for the client and stuff.
Yeah. I have an uncle that was an attorney here in Dothan for 22 years. He had started a firm, and then all his family, all his daughters moved to the Hoover and Birmingham area. And then they started having kids. So he has grandkids and his kids 3.5 hours away. So he up and moved. And they started a branch of that law firm up there. But then he decided this past year to open up his own law firm and market it to where when he's ready to retire, he can just sell the whole firm without his name attached to it. And so he's building that up right now.
Sorry, guys.
Bless you.
It's pollen season.
And so he is in the very beginning stages of the marketing part of all of that. And so he said his headshots were from who knows how long ago. He said they weren't even good enough quality to put on Facebook. So I said, well, I know a thing or two about that. You can come by the studio. He was in Dothan for just a couple days for a wedding. So he came by here and we did a full session to where we did waist up and full body shots. Spent about an hour to where they can cut those up and spread those out throughout all of his marketing.
Sweet. And then later that afternoon, evening, I don't know what you call it at that point, around 6 o'clock. What do you call 6 o'clock?
Evening.
That's
Supper
evening.
time.
In our terms, golden hour time. But we had a session with a wedding client that we're actually really excited about working with, which is Kelsey and Kim.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we finally got to get something scheduled, but unfortunately rain. But we made the best of it. We went downtown, used some awning coverings, and they actually said to us, like, or Kelsey at least, was game for getting in the rain. So we did some photo video stuff with that. We're obviously going to reschedule another session so we can get some better lighting situations. But we're excited about that one because, one, we get to travel for it. It's going to be at a really cool looking location in Jacksonville, Florida area. I think that's the area that it's in.
And she's my friend from high school, so that's just
So
going to be fun anyway.
there's that connecting point there. So it's always fun to like take care of people that we know. There's already that rapport, but they basically ordered the top packages, which is
Everything.
I love that. It's obviously, financially that's great, but it's also really nice when
Hey. We're in here.
We're wrapping up a podcast real quick. But anyways, we get, because of the packages that they ordered, it gives us a lot of freedom to do all kinds of stuff. And we've got ideas. Some of the video stuff that I did for this session, we're hoping to apply for the actual overall wedding video too. So it's just really cool that we're taking care of photo, video. We can do stuff locally, but we're going to be able to travel for that as well. So yeah, that was pretty much our weekend projects and stuff. If anybody's thought about a pro tip kind of thing, the thing that I think about, unless someone else has another idea, is just being flexible. So I'll just use the wedding session stuff that we did on yesterday at the time of the recording, is that obviously we had better ideas in mind of like what the scenery could have been, but it was stormy weather and all this kind of stuff. So being able to be flexible, being able to think on the fly and make the best of the situation. Like we're going to have images and videos that just don't normally happen. So there's going to be some pretty cool stuff to go along with that. But yeah, any ideas as far as being flexible? Any other projects that we worked on that being flexible was?
In your TikTok videos, you had to be a little bit
more
physically,
like willing.
Physically
flexible.
And all
willing.
of our projects were pretty flexible.
Yeah. I don't know about like physically flexible, but anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this. We actually had we got Adam Davis. He's coming in to do some work with this. So we got to work with him in the past. So it's going to be fun to work some more projects. So yeah, like, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Links in the description. Yeah. Have a good week. Deuces. We were recording the whole time. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We appreciate you watching or listening. If you find value from this podcast, please leave a review. It helps rank us up into the podcast algorithms. Also, if you would like to be a guest on the show and share some of your project experiences, let us know, reach out, and we'll be happy to have you on the show, get you scheduled on. If you're a client and want to work on a project with us, there's contact information down below in the video description. We're looking forward to hearing from you and see what your ideas are and see how we can potentially be a fit to make your project happen. Until then, we'll catch you next episode.